So over the year now, I have been very transfixed on Usopp getting a Devil Fruit imbued weapon, possibly with that weapon being a hammer, which will go into his whole hammer gag, and that animal possibly being a squirrel. With that being said, the reason why I think I'm so transfixed on this concept is because it's an Usopp fight that introduces us to the concept of items eating Zoan fruits. I hadn't thought about that until just now because it's in the fight between Usopp, Chopper against Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas, along with Lasso, Mr. Four's favorite gun that ate the dog fruit Model Daishud, that we see an item with the ability of a devil fruit that is now this weird combination of machine and living creature. What is so interesting about this is that Chopper actually gets us to this point. And it's really funny just how important Chopper is when talking about devil fruits as a concept, because in Drum Kingdom, right? In the Drum Kingdom arc, we have Dalton. Dalton introduces us to the concept of the Zoan fruit for the first time in the series, or at least how it should be perceived. A guy eats a fruit that allows him to turn into a hybrid form of human and beast, and then into a full beast, whatever that beast may be. We also get how devil fruits of this category are named. It's animal, model, the specific animal of that animal class. So in Dalton's case, it's the ox fruit model bison. But what Chopper does is something even more extreme. One, he introduces us to the concept of animals being able to eat devil fruits, something that has not really been expanded on up until the Elbaf arc, in which we have Biblo, the first animal who has eaten a paramecia fruit. From Chopper up to this point, it has only been animals eating Zoan fruits, which is wild to think about. But on top of that, he also lets us know that humans are a part of the Zoan fruit power system, as he is the user of the human fruit, which too is very interesting and is important because that's how we eventually get to characters, or I guess abilities, like Nika, right? Then we find out that the three forms that Dalton is subject to are just because he's kind of a bad Zoan, as Chopper, thanks to some medical intervention in the Rumble Balls, can access a multitude of forms, which that concept is then further and further expanded on as we go throughout the series. So I said to say, it's very funny from the start of Zoans being introduced that Chopper was really the linchpin to let us know that, yeah, Zoans have a lot more to them than just becoming a weird animal dude, right? On top of that, what's super cool about Chopper that has become a very subtle theme throughout One Piece after his introduction is that it kind of lets the user in, or the reader in, I should say, it lets the reader in on a weird detail. It's that devil fruits might be a concept that is for humans by humans, and we get confirmation of that in Egghead, as devil fruits are the dreams and wishes of people, because it's really peculiar that in a lot of cases, not all cases, but a lot of cases, when you have a non-traditional human eating a Zoan type devil fruit, their forms are always peculiar. For example, Chopper is never able to turn into a full human. Now, many have speculated that's because his fruit isn't really the human fruit, is the human fruit model Sasquatch or something like that. I believe if he were to have anything other than the base level human fruit, that would ruin the entire point of his character, but I digress. Then we have characters like Kaido. Kaido has the fish fruit model Azure Dragon, but because he is an Oni, or an ogre, his horns in being an ogre still stay on top of him gaining the horns from the form. And you see this too with his daughter Yamato. Despite all the forms that she takes, both in her hybrid state and her full wolf form, she still retains those horns. Same could be said for Ulti. Now, we do have exceptions in page 1, but I believe his horns are being expressed through his elongated brow in his full and hybrid states. So I say it all to say that a lot of the time, when you have a non-human character, the expressions of their weird traits don't get erased no matter what. This is even true for textiles or patterns, as when we see Pierre, the second animal who has eaten a zoan fruit in the series, he is a bird with a brown head and a pink polka dotted body. But when he becomes a horse, thanks to the power of the horse fruit, and looks like a Pegasus, the patterns that he has as a bird still stay with him. This then carries over to characters like Lasso, because when an item eats a devil fruit, they're always a freak, because Lasso looks like a weird cross between a Daishud and a gun. Feng Fried has this weird bridle on his head and back that resemble the hilt of the sword that he becomes. Then we have Smiley, who was originally gas, but when he is transformed into an axolotl, thanks to the Sala Sala model axolotl, he becomes this weird axolotl goop monster, a slime of some sort. So in all cases, when you have an item that eats a devil fruit, much like when you have a non-human character that eats a devil fruit, 9 times out of 10, you get this weird freak. And I find that fascinating. A very comparable situation to this, again, is Kaido and Momonosuke, as they have the same power, but Momonosuke only has 1 set of horns, whereas Kaido has 2 sets of horns, giving him 4 instead of 2. So with all that being said, yes, I think it would bring things back around full circle if Usopp gets a hammer that has some sort of Zoan Dofru power, because it would be an homage to his fight with Mr. Four and Miss Merry Christmas, as the introduction of the concept of devil fruits being able to be eaten by objects. But with that being said, give me your thoughts and tell your friends about Polypede
Works.